me start with one quick thought. Go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Now the Knicks have been playing that song for the better part of 3 decades now. And apparently they finally actually listened to the lyrics for the first time, because for the first time in recent memory, the Knicks are fire. They are fire. Look, I've never even let that song go until now. They've never earned the right for me to play that song any longer than I had. They are fire for the first time in a long time at an important point of the season. The Knicks are going where they've never gone before right now. In fact, they're going where no team has ever gone before right now. Actually. So go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. 2 seconds ago, this looked like a team that was on the verge of catastrophe. 2 seconds ago, they were down 2-1 to the Hawks. They had blown the home court advantage. They had 34-year-old CJ McCollum doing his best Trae Young impression. They had the guy that they traded 5 first-round picks for, throwing up a goose egg. In other words, your completely typical bricks nonsense. That was the vibe 2 seconds ago. But somehow that has clearly changed in the last 4 games. Something has clearly clicked for the Bricks in the last 4 games. Because in those last 4 games, they have gone from catastrophic to historic. And I actually mean historic. I can't believe the words that are about to fall out of my face. But the Knicks just became the first team in the long history of the association to win 3 straight playoff games by 25 or more. That had never been done before. And the Knicks just did it. The Knicks, who trailed the Hawks 2-1. The Knicks, of all the teams in the history of the NBA, of all the great teams in the history of the NBA, it was the Knicks who did it for the first time. And that's those 3 games. Over the 4 games, they've won by an average margin of just under 34 points.
34.
Again, the Bricks just did that. Yo, Powder, who the hell are these dudes? And what have you done with the Bricks? Because I do not recognize this team right now, and I mean that as a major compliment. Good for you, Powder. Man, you know Powder and the rest of the league office are loving this so much right now. The Knicks suddenly turning into an overnight, historic juggernaut. I mean, that'd be like Powder's all-time fantasy coming true. Well, besides Powder all of a sudden getting a tan. That'd be probably the greatest thing ever happened to him. And the most impossible thing ever. That's not going to happen. I didn't think this would ever happen, but I know that's not going to happen. I mean, essentially, the Knicks are going hope solo on the Eastern Conference right now. The Knicks are going psychotic, and they're beating people up, and the rest of the East needs help. The Knicks are going psychotic, and they're beating people up, and the rest of the East needs help. So, yeah. The Knicks are now suddenly the biggest story in the NBA. Sorry, Minnesota. Sorry, San Antonio. Sorry, engagement farmers. And sorry to the defending champs, OKC, on their repeat tour. The Knicks are bigger than all of that, even if they aren't better. They're bigger than all of that, even if they aren't better than any of that. I mean, they'd beat the Lakers, but only as long as Luka stays off the floor. But as impressive as those 4 games have been, I still wouldn't take the Knicks in a series against the Wolves. I wouldn't. Or the Spurs, or obviously the Thunder. Luckily for the Knicks, though, they don't have to see any of those teams until the finals. And what's left of the East is not exactly terrifying now, is it? It's almost like the East has just parted like the Red Sea. It's suddenly wide open for the Knicks to play their best basketball of the century so far. I mean, how much of it is one and how much of it is the other? Are they playing their best basketball of the century, or is the East just that wide open? I mean, maybe yes. But considering what they look like 2 seconds ago, they weren't getting out of the first round, much less the East. Now, with all of that said, we all know the Sixers were in a terrible spot last night, and you saw why. I mean, I said it before the game. It didn't take a genius to know this. They were gassed. They were just playing in a game like 5 minutes after a tough, emotional Game 7 win. You knew they were going to come into MSG last night dragging us. You knew they would be vulnerable to an ugly game, and especially if the Knicks jumped on them early on, and they did. The Knicks came out, they scored 74 in the first half, and that game was over by halftime. As Paul George put it, they shot the bleep out of the ball.
I mean, just get settled in, you know. Yeah, we had breakdowns tonight, but they also shot the shit out of the ball.
They did. They absolutely did that. The Knicks shot 63% from the field. They made 19 threes. Actually, Paul George, he actually himself shot the bleep out of the ball, but he was the only Sixer who could shoot last night. So credit to the Knicks for jumping all over a beat-up, exhausted team. And that's what the Knicks saw last night, a beat-up, exhausted team. Even Jalen Brunson admitted after the game they will not see that same Sixers team again this series.
Honestly, you got to take this game with a grain of salt and just kind of move forward. I don't think we're going to see that team that we saw in Game 1 and Game 2. They're going to be ready to go.
Dude actually said, you got to take that game with a grain of salt. I would. I get it.
Salt.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bench the salt. I would take that game with a grain of salt. I would, except we're talking about the Sixers, right? One problem. The Sixers, they could not stop Brunson in their playoff series 2 years ago either. They had no answers for him then, and they had no answers for him last night. He dropped 35 a night. And the Knicks beat Philly in 6 games a couple years back, and he got over last night. Last night, he put on a laser show in the first half alone. 27 in the first half. And if this guy's going to be allowed to get whatever he wants, whenever he wants again in this series, then the Sixers are going to have a really tough time once again, even when they are rested. Philly can't let the Knicks' best player just dominate that series. It already happened once 2 years ago, and it's starting to happen again. They also need more from their own best players. Again, they were tired, they were beaten up, they were beaten down, I get that. So I really don't want to get on Tyrese Maxey or Joel Embiid because I'm big fans of both these guys. But they need more than 3 buckets from Maxey if they're going to beat the Knicks in MSG. They need better than 3 field goals and 4 turnovers from that dude, period. As for Joel, hard to ask much more of him than what he's giving right now, given that he's coming back from appendix surgery less than a month ago. And he put that team on his back, and he got them past the Celtics for their first win over Boston in 44 years. But they turned around and played 25 minutes last night and did not look right, did he? Obviously, Boston had no answer for him, but New York had lots of answers for him. And he played through 25 minutes, but was not moving well. And that was before the shot that he took to the appendix and that open wound. Doesn't look like that felt very good. Hey, look, that's going to happen, right? That's going to happen. If you're out there with an open wound and the other team knows it, you're going to take shots. I mean, incredibly admirable to be out there, but the other team is going to take advantage of it, and that's inevitable. Joel said after the game that he didn't think that shot was necessary, but he also said he has to do a better job protecting himself and that it's just playoff basketball. I mean, yes, of course. Of course, Knick fan has got a problem with it, though. I don't have a huge problem with what he said, but of course Knick fan does. But Knick fan has got a problem with Joel in general. Knick fan needs to have a problem with somebody. So Knick fan transferred all their Trae Young hate to Joel Embiid. And it started even before they tipped off in Game 1 with the F Embiid chants. They were actually deafening at MSG.
No doubt. There were plenty of those fireworks. And going to let Embiid hear
like I said,
every
they need
single
somebody
time he's involved.
and something to hate. Now, that's not exactly Knick fans' most creative work. FMB'd. However, it's got to be a little intimidating to have the entire building chanting FU before the game even starts. Like I always say, these Knick fans are psychos. Psychos. Like nothing I've ever seen. And they've never been treated to a playoff spectacle like the one they've seen the last 4 games. So their energy right now is through the roof. Through the roof. Case in point. They almost trampled one of their own. J.R. Smith nearly lost his life outside the arena last night. Look at this guy. Check it out. Wading into the mass of humanity. Even JR got up like he's down. Man down. Man down. JR even got up like, chill out. Relax, everybody. Look at this guy. Somebody help me up. If you're listening on the radio, he went out into that mass of humanity. JR, what are you doing? What are you thinking? Chill out, everybody, chill out. Bro, if they would have done any of their own like that, John Starks, Ewing, well, anybody except Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley would have beaten all of them into submission. Allen Houston probably would have gotten it. They probably wouldn't have let him up. Yeah, good luck getting these people to calm down right now. He's trying to get them to calm down. Good luck with that. Knick fan is more fired up than ever. And how can they not be? How can you blame them? They have been insanely fired up over far less exciting teams. Now, all of a sudden, they're on one of the hottest runs we have ever seen. So, of course, Knick fan is raging and out of control, which I love. And the best thing I could say a Knick fan is I don't recognize the Knicks right now. Who are these guys? And when will the Bricks be back? The Bricks. These are the Knicks. When will the Bricks be back? We know they're not going to keep making every shot they take. Then again, as I mentioned, there are no monsters left in the East. And who am I to be a buzzkill? So go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. And Knick fan, go in on anyone and everyone you want, dead or alive. It may never be this good ever again. Get blasted. Rip what's left of Trae Young's hair out, even though he's got nothing to do with this. Back to JR for a minute. Where were JR's boys or his crew to tell him, nah. Do not go out there. Don't go out there. Don't go out there. Nothing good comes out of big crowds like that. Fueled up big crowds like that. Friendly or otherwise. What are you going to tell them? Chill? There's no chill there. You know who you did not see out on the streets? Well, guys who are smarter than to go out on the streets. But the guys you didn't see were Larry Johnson, John Starks, Patrick Ewing, Bernard King. You know why? Because they were inside chilling. And then after the game, they went straight to their cars or they were escorted off the premises. They did not take to the sidewalks because going outside, heading outside of MSG after a game like that or any time right about now is so wrong. So wrong. Unless you want to get stomped into submission. It's JR Swish. More like JR Squish. From upright man to on his back man. From upright to stomped into the ground man. It's JR Squish. What are you doing, Squish? Why would you be doing that? No. Hey, everybody, chill out. I'm JR Swish. Yeah, well, we're Knick fans, all right? And you came out here. That's on you, not us. But it's so wrong. It's so funny. Dude, what are you doing? You can't be a former Knick and try to wade into that drunken euphoria. You're lucky you came out there alive. Man, you gotta make better decisions, dude. You gotta make better decisions. At least bring your 9 with you. Or your 3 wood.